Hey, Coach, can we go over the injuries real quick? What's going on with Vaughn and then Glasgow and Chubb?
Vaughn just had basically a vet day today. I gave him the day off. Chubb's the same. He's getting better. He'll be back out there soon. Who was the other one?
Glasgow was out there walking around.
Yeah, he's getting better. I think we'll see him next week out there.
And then you had some guys back, the rookies, Hamlin, Ojemudia, and then Holder.
Yeah, they went through practice on a limited basis. Did some individual. It's kind of the natural progression. See how they did today and evaluate it for tomorrow and Friday.
Okay, and then did you finalize anything in regards to a nighttime practice down at the stadium?
Yeah, we're going Friday night at 7:30 will be kickoff. And be a similar format to what we did last week. Give our guys a chance to get down there, see the lights, with our first game being under the lights, especially for some of these receivers and guys that haven't been there, just to get a feel for that and another good feel for the stadium.
Next up, Mike Kliss.
Yeah, Coach, you know how you said that number 3 cornerback, you wanted to make it obvious for the media. It was obvious today that Asang Bassi maybe is now in the mix. What can you say about him?
Yeah, I just decided today, actually last night, but didn't tell him, as soon as we started the teamwork or when we first drills, for him to take the reps with the first nickel as the nickel. And it was more of a test for him. It wasn't a move or anything. And just to see how he reacted and how he would do in there.
Next up, Eric Dalala.
Yeah, Coach, what do you want Drew to focus on before now in the season opener? Obviously, there's so much to learn with the offense, but if there were 1 or 2 things you want him to key in on between now and then, what would you say?
Just to keep mastering his position within the offense. And I think it'll become time now to where, we need to talk to him and see what he's most comfortable with, what he's not comfortable with, because the game is approaching, as we all know. So, we got to tailor it to him, at the same point, him pushing through stuff that we think is important that maybe he doesn't feel as comfortable with now.
Next up, Nick Kosmider.
Vic, I've often heard it said that coming in as a rookie tight end, that's one of the harder positions to kind of to grasp and learn as a rookie. What are the keys to, I guess, compartmentalizing all the tasks involved in that position, as a rookie and not biting off more than a guy can chew?
Yeah, it's playing tight end most times in the NFL is way different than playing tight end in college football. Number one, they're asked to block more, both in the run and some occasional pass blocking. That's a big adjustment there. And that takes a mindset and a commitment to technique. 2, running routes and being a receiver against NFL coverages. That there's the coverage systems in the NFL are much more sophisticated than they see in college on a consistent basis. And, and guys covering them are better than they've gone against on a consistent basis. So it is a big adjustment because they're involved in the run game. They're involved in the pass game, both as a receiver and an occasional blocker. So there is a lot to learn there. Kind of the equivalent of an inside linebacker on defense.
Next up, Jeff Legwold.
Vic, on going back to Bassi a little bit, when you tell a guy just before practice something like that, are you trying to simulate what would happen in a game, or are you just really trying to simulate how he reacts to maybe a little more pressure?
Both. You're right, because that's how it could happen in a game. You can be going 5, 6, 7 weeks and with a backup, and then you're ready to go, but you never get in there, and then it just happens that fast. So you got to be ready to go. That's part of it. And 2, just to give him a chance to work with the ones. If they're in there, let him feel it. Let the other players feel him in there. And just wanted to see how it would go and whether he would his pants or go out there and play like he's been.
Did you have any initial reaction just from watching?
Yeah, I thought he did pretty damn good.
Next up, Troy Ring.
Vic, based on this weird training camp and all the COVID, as we get closer to season, are you confident this thing, or more confident now that this thing can be pulled off than maybe you were in June or July? And my follow-up would be, because I know you've been to Nuggets games, is what you thought about that ending last night.
You know, I didn't see the game because the game was during our meetings, but obviously I saw the highlights, and it was a great win for the Nuggets. Yeah, I mean, that's a big win for the Nuggets. They're in the Elite Eight now, you know, paralleling it to the NC2A tournament, especially coming back from down 3-1. And, you know, that's what has to happen. Your best players have to pull you through those situations. And obviously Murray did it in the previous 2 games, and Jokic did it last night. And hopefully they'll get to the Final Four. And I think they got a chance. Very happy for Mike and that group. And the other question is, yeah, I do feel more confident. You know, early on, you know, June, July, when, you know, I wasn't confident and I wasn't pessimistic. I was like everybody else. You know, let's just go day at a time. But I know as of last Saturday, there was one guy. And, you know, one guy, that's 32 teams with 80 players. Do the math, that's like 2,700 players getting tested every day. And to have one guy on that list, that's amazing. You know, and we're not living in a bubble, okay? These guys are going home at night. So, yeah, I do feel good about it. Now, since then, I think a couple other ones have showed up positive around the league, but let's call it 4. 4 out of 2,700 is amazing, okay? So, yeah, I do feel very confident, and I'm happy about it. These guys' careers aren't interrupted. Their pay isn't interrupted. And, yeah, we wish we had fans, and hopefully the progress will still keep being made, and we'll have the fans back in there sooner rather than later.
Next up, Darren McKee, and time for a few more after Darren.
Coach, I know you're a big baseball fan too, and I'm not sure if you didn't see the Nuggets, if you caught the Rockies at all. But my question is of a philosophical nature. When things really, really go bad, what is your philosophical approach in terms of how you address the team and you build things back up when things really go south?
Well, I think you always have, you know, it's different baseball and football, although baseball is a little more similar this year with 60 games. But on a normal year, our one game equals 10 of theirs. So when we lose a game, it's like them being on a 10-game losing streak. So, but when you get blown out like that, I think you have to analyze why it happened, correct the correctables, show them where the mistakes were made, and then move on to the next opponent as best you can. Realizing that the psyche of your team could be damaged, more so in football than baseball. I didn't see any of that game. I don't know if they started having position players pitch late in the game, stuff like that, to where – but it's a tough loss. Nobody likes to go through it. I feel for Buddy. He's a hell of a manager. And they'll get it going.
Last 2, Andrew Mason, Kyle Newman. Andrew, go ahead.
Hey, Vic, there's obviously been a lot of focus on lost OTAs, lost practice time, but what have you learned about your team through how it's functioning through this altered environment that maybe you wouldn't learn in a normal year?
Well, I think they've accepted the challenge that we need to feel the urgency and have the focus to make the most of this shortened camp and be ready for the regular season as much as we can be. I'm sure every team in the league, coaches in particular, feel a little bit unprepared in certain areas, wish they had more time to develop the team, cover more situations, develop all your different phases of the game and the situations that come up, and evaluate your players with preseason games. But with these guys, as I have and everybody else has accepted it, you can't change what you can't change, and just move on.
Last one, Kyle.
Hey, Vic, Jerry Atashi's emergence in the pass rush last year, how are you looking for him to continue that this year behind Vaughn and Bradley Chubb?
The same, you know, he's just hopefully, you know, he came in midstream, 5th week of the season last year and did a nice job for us. We expect him to be even better this year. And, you know, especially with Bradley's situation, he may not be able to take the full load right off the bat. So we need both him and Malik Reed and everybody else at that position to chip in. So Jerry's a very important player for us.
Okay, Coach, thanks for taking the time.
All right, thank you.